Alright, action. Okay, so this is the 5th round out of 5 rounds. And this clip of my AK-47 and this Infowar. Figuratively speaking. Okay, so I was not at first going to share my gardening secrets, but in the midst of me making my YouTube videos take off, I'm gonna share everything, most everything about gardening that I know. Okay, so now where to begin? You all know that thing, what was it called? Oh yeah, the biodome that was like in Arizona. What was it, close to Phoenix, where it was at? Okay, it was like after a couple of years. I heard it was like after a couple of years they had to replenish more. They had to replenish the stale indoor air with more fresh outdoor air. I heard from this book called Grow Your Own, which talks about growing marijuana, that a way to create what's called a closed loop air circulation method is to just simply replenish the CO2. Now, plants, let me make sure I don't drop my phone here. Plants pump out, suck in CO2 during the daytime and pump out oxygen during the daytime for photosynthesis. And at nighttime, that is reversed. So at nighttime, it pumps out CO2 as it sucks in oxygen. Okay, so now that's for all regular vegetation. There's regular vegetation, and then there's vegetation which is called bromeliads. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Or arid plants which grow in the desert. Their lighting cycle is reversed. So during the daytime, they suck in oxygen and pump out CO2, and at nighttime, they pump in CO2 and pump out oxygen at nighttime. Those desert plants do. Okay, so don't quote me on this, but I would guess that if you put in, because from what I understand, CO2 is the limiting factor in of life on Earth. And so if you just put in way more bromeliad arid desert plants than the regular vegetation, you should probably be just fine. But you could create your own homemade yeast. I tried to find out how to make yeast before. I would type into Amazon how to make yeast book, and I didn't find anything relevant at all. But recently, see, just like if you're on the internet and you type in what is the cheapest house or what is the fountain of youth, you usually will not find what you're looking for. Although that used to be the case with real estate. Now it's becoming more and more mainstream, common knowledge how to invest in tax-lien properties. But I'm pretty sure even these days, if you type in what is the fountain of youth, you're not even going to pull up anything relevant. So, what I found in the library in Lexington, Kentucky, these books called the Brewer's Bible, or no, I'm sorry, How to Make Yeast for Dummies. I'm sorry. the key word you're looking for is fermentation. Ferment and fermentation. So there's books like The Fermentation Bible, Fermentation for Dummies, etc. Something along those lines, if that's not exact word for word. Okay, so now I think, don't quote me on this one, we're kind of just in rough carpentry mode here, but I think that as a fire consumes oxygen, I think that it puts out CO2. Don't quote me on that one, but I heard that you could make a natural heater with which uses about $5 worth of vegetable oil per week. I heard you could use olive oil as well. You know, so you know those doggy dishes that hold those small jugs of water, and every time the tray of water would go down, then it would disperse more. Water. You could connect a 50-gallon drum of olive oil to something like that, and fuel your oil burning lamp, oil burning heater, and possibly create CO2 that way. You know, so the two most basic growing mediums is organic soil, which produces nice flavor. Hydroponics produces explosive growth. I learned this on my own on the internet. This growing medium called hydro soil gardening, otherwise known as soil mixed gardening. That's where you combine both soil and hydro into one growing medium. There are 3 different versions of those growing mediums. There's one where it's all combined into one with an air stone at the bottom. There's another one where the flower pot is on top and the hydroponics reservoir is on bottom. And from what I understand, 100% foolproof way to avoid root rot is to pump out oxygen through your growing medium with like an air stone. And then there's something which is called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this or recalling this correctly, it's called the kratom or kratom. Yeah, I think it's called the kratom method. No electricity, no moving parts. All you have to do is stick a flower pot on top of a hydroponics reservoir, but this time leave a pocket of air between the two, and that's how it gets its oxygen that way. Okay, now you could bring life to, I don't know about the, okay, let me explain the whole picture here. When it comes to making water for your garden, there is something called an atmospheric water generator. An atmospheric water generator, an air conditioner unit, and a dehumidifier. They all do basically the same thing. They all drop down the temperature to the point of reaching the dew point temperature. And then, for instance, you could take a fan and blow those droplets of water into like a tray. An air conditioner will usually sit there and pump the water out onto the ground or something like that. But with an atmospheric water generator and a dehumidifier, it's got to collect the water somewhere, and it collects it usually in a tray. Okay, so And you could just right when that tray fills up, take out that tray and just start drinking the water out of the pitcher like it's a water pitcher, like it's a pitcher of water. Now I've heard different opinions on how much humidity you need to produce, to extract humidity from the air and make it into water. Some say that it don't matter where you are in the entire world, there's always some amount of humidity in the air where you can condense that into water. Some say you need roughly 35, 30, 60, 65% humidity. I was researching this on YouTube and I seen this one YouTube video of this one dehumidifier company, and it was based in Europe, I'm pretty sure. And this dehumidifier unit would kick on when there's at least 20% humidity in the air. Okay. Now the dew point temperature varies from one part of the day to the next. Okay, so during the daytime, when it's hotter, usually, from what I understand, there's less humidity in the air. And so, but at nighttime, you all heard that term, morning dew. Well, let's connect the dots with this, because I checked around about February or March of last year, when it was this was in the Mojave Desert in Ridgecrest, California, where my uncle lives, my half uncle lives. And I was trying to find out, and by the way, my mom is from Long Beach, California, and she was born there, and she was raised a little bit in Ridgecrest, California, aka the Mojave Desert, and I think that this stuff just runs through my blood. And so I checked on the Weather Channel website. I think it's called weather.com or weather.org. I checked the previous 24 hours weather, the temperature, or I'm sorry, the humidity, starting with by process of elimination, which parts of the day was like the hottest, and those were like around like noon during the daytime. And then I started counting down by process of elimination, just going through all the hours. 12 noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 a.m. all the way up until I got to around like 5, 6, 7 a.m. That's when there was enough humidity in the air. There was a good 23 to 24% humidity in the air. And again, that one dehumidifier company, which I'm pretty sure is based in Europe, it will kick on after 20% of humidity. So for all you Californians and all you people in Las Vegas and that desert city that say, oh, we need to conserve the resources, we need to conserve the water because it's scarce, there's only so much. We need to conserve the electricity because there's only so much. I learned recently how to make so many different free energy devices. Okay, food, water, energy, electricity. If you know what you are doing, and it's not rocket science. I come from a poor background, and one thing that I learned is I've searched for years on end why anyone is rich, poor, successful or not. One thing that I learned is the secret to life is that it ain't no secret. Anyways, I gotta cut these videos short, keep them just under 15 minutes, and we'll keep these rounds popping off around the clock. Here we go. Cut. Get ready for some more action here in a bit. Cut. See you in a bit. All right, cut. All right, cut.